Slot didn't spend and he's doing fine, says Vivaz. Are you a total Pratt? Are you Pratt of Prattville? Are you King Pratt of Pratatonia? Are you in the Pratterverse? How big a Pratt are you? What are you talking about? Have a word with yourself and then come back in 5 minutes, because I am fuming with you and your stupid Pratt comment. What are you on about? Are you real? Are you
Are you real? What was the name? That Tiffany Gomez was pointing to the back of the aeroplane. They're not even real.
Actually real? Infiltrating this community with Pratts like that? What are you talking about?
Great
We're
point,
talking
Goldbridge.
about Manchester United. We haven't won a title for 10 years, you dickhead.
Oh, that tickled me pink. Anyway, let's get back to it.
We haven't got a squad that can win a title. What are you talking about Slot for? The only 4-letter word with a T at the end you should be talking about is Pratt, because that's what you are. What are you talking about Slot for?
Obviously, this is Mark talking about the kind of modest budget that Man United are going to be given, talking about the pros and the cons to this story that's come out. And a fan of the United stand, Goldbridge doesn't think he's a United fan, but he may be, has stated that Slot didn't spend and look how well they're doing, so Amorim doesn't need to spend either. Madly flawed logic, but let's get back to what Goldbridge said.
What negative crap are you talking? So you're basically saying Amorim doesn't need any signings because Slot didn't? Do you know the squad that Slot's got at Liverpool? He won the bloody Champions League, mate.
Facts.
He won the bloody Premier League.
Facts.
It was Klopp's team. He built it.
Facts. Well, him and Edwards, but facts.
You absolute prat. Get out and don't come back for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. There's so much truth to this, though. I keep seeing people say that, look, Man United having a more modest budget, we're still going to spend huge amounts of money, okay? But we all know. Let's just get to the facts of this. Just stop all the bullshit. Man United have overspent in the last 11 years. We have, whether it be 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, in Anthony's case, 70 million, we have overspent and overpaid, even for the really good players that we've purchased. We have nearly always done it. This summer, we saw much better negotiations, getting players in at a far more moderate rate, 10 million, 5 million, 15 million, under those asking prices of the football clubs. That is the realm that we're moving into. Plus, I believe, and I agree with Man United on this, and Ineos, in fact, if you have the right structure at the club at board level, if you're all pulling in the same direction, if you're buying the right profiles for the system the club wants to play, and you have the head coach that marries up with all of this, you should be able to get a better tune out of your players. We shouldn't have to keep starting new projects over again and spending exorbitant amounts of money every single summer. Plus, we want to sell players for more money. But comparing what Amorim is inheriting to what Slot is inherited, or when Pep leaves this year or next year, what that future City manager is going to be inheriting. If Arteta was to leave Arsenal today, what his replacement would inherit versus what he took over from is night and day. I know a lot of people hate Man United, so they want to put the pressure on. I know a lot of people want to see Man United fail. I get it. I understand it. We're rivals here. But the element that I find so intriguing is the way people try and make these comparisons. They don't add up in any way, shape or form. And Goldbridge is right for calling this out.
What an idiot. We don't need rubbish like that. That's the sort of thing certain twats in the journalistic world will be going, good point, good point. You know, Amorim should be getting them top of the league if Slot can.
Absolutely right. It's so disingenuous. It's unfreaking believable.
Seriously though, mate, come on. Don't compare Slot not buying any players, inheriting a Klopp-built team with players, half a team that have won a bloody Premier League and a Champions League, to inheriting United. Inheriting a Rolls-Royce and
this is what's funny about when rivals say this, okay? You might get Liverpool fans that say it. You'll get the negative United fans that will pull this narrative, but that's just because there's a lot of United fans who only get attention on Twitter, only get attention on TikTok, if they're being negative. And they're genuinely worried that if Man United start to turn things around, their careers, quote unquote, is over because no one cares about them when things are going well. But when rivals, if Arsenal fans say this, especially if Liverpool fans or City fans say it, what you're essentially saying is that Man United's squad is as good as yours. But if you put that as a direct statement to Liverpool fans, Man United's squad's as good as yours, they'll all go, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. But in the same breath say, well, Slot didn't spend any money and look how well we're doing. It's the problem with this. Again, it's because there's been no banter in schools now for 10, 15 years. These people don't know how to do it. They don't know how to. Even if it's banter, it's terrible banter.
Inheriting a broken down tractor. That's what the difference is. Slot's done a great job. He's done a great job. But he is inheriting a Rolls-Royce squad, assembled by Klopp with half a first team that have won titles. Amorim is inheriting something very different. Come on. I just can't deal with stupidity like that. It's mad.
Do you ever remember that viral clip of Candace Owens where I think she was quite heavily pregnant and somebody in a crowd, a talk she was at, asked her a question, but it was more of a statement. And she said, well, great statement, but what's your question? The girl walked off and she turned around and went, I'm just too pregnant to handle this stuff. That's what Goldbridge reminds me of. I just can't handle this stupidity. Clearly not, well, I assume he's not pregnant, but yeah, I get it though. I absolutely understand why he's pushing back. And it's so what I've also noticed in the last few days online is a lot of Man United fans who are normally quite positive. They were really behind Ten Hag as an example, or they've always spoke about patience. They've always spoken about giving a manager time. Suddenly with Amorim, they don't want to. I still think we'll look bad. I don't think we'll look any different than what we did under Ten Hag. I don't see why we've done this. The narcissism of people is crazy. Now, believing your opinion is right isn't narcissism. That's just normal. I just look at that as purely normal, beige, mahogany, the average person. Why would you ever give an opinion that you didn't think was right? It'd be very weird to do that. But I've noticed a lot of these guys who are sort of top reds and seen as the positive people who would always shut you down if you said, I think Ten Hag's come to the end of the road, or I don't think this player's good enough. Suddenly now with this new regime, they're really angry. And all I really put that down to is I still think some of these top reds have this belief that we need a manager, the new Fergie. And they've pushed this narrative for 11 years. They're wrong. There is no new Fergie. That doesn't work anymore in the modern game. We need this current structure. But instead of being hopeful about it, I genuinely think their narcissism is leading them to a point where they want this to fail so that they're not wrong. Which I find this all so crazy because we should be focusing on the football. And look, I will also say this as well. Don't get carried away with things. We saw yesterday, I think Rashford and Casemiro tweeting about how good, or Insta posting about how good the training was. And a lot of United fans, wow, look at this. The players are loving it. This is a good sign. It means we're going back to the top. That stuff has to be tempered as well. Because the same players, I've seen them tweet great sessions, top sessions, etc., when Ten Hag was taking training. Now, that may not have been now. That may have been nearer the beginning, okay? And the beginning didn't start too badly for Man United. Outside those opening 2 games, we went on a very good run for the first 6 months. So I say to Man United fans, keep your feet firmly on the ground. This is a long and winding road. The journey that we're about to go on is going to take time to get us back to the very top. But I do find it very interesting watching some of the really positive people that are always about giving managers time that seem to be really negative and downbeat about the situation. And if that is a Man United fan that put this comment into Goldbridge, he probably sits within that same ilk of, well, Slot got them winning straight away, so I expect Amorim to. They almost... And I notice this every time the managerial change happens at Man United. The ones that wanted the previous guy in, a lot of them become outers of the new guy and vice versa. And my message is this: stop it. Please stop it. This doesn't help the club. Doesn't help the manager. Chasing your narcissism is absolutely ridiculous. Like chasing, trying to be right all the time and doing everything in your power to damage what's coming for your own club so you can hopefully say you're right. I find that a very strange way to look at things and do things. But that's just me. Look, I'd love to get your views and opinions on what Mark has had to say here, but the wider Man United situation at large. Is it fair to expect a Slot Liverpool-like start to Amorim's career? Should we be more conservative as Manchester United fans? What's your thoughts, feelings, opinions? Leave us your comments below. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace!